There are a lot of lawmakers who are saying that they're concerned that this money be used for one-time programs as opposed to being plowed into the budget where 2 or 3 years from now we have to cover money that's no longer there. As you look at the Transform Missouri plan, is most of it one-time spending, or?
I think most of it is one time. I mean, the budget stabilization funds for education and healthcare are designed to deal with those ongoing challenges that we face because of the downtick of the economy. You know, when you have an increase in unemployment, you obviously have more folks accessing Medicaid. When you have a drop in unemployment, you obviously have food stamp demand go up. All of those, through those stabilization funds, are relatively formulaic, and we look forward to working with the legislature. But the real magic here is the one-time expenditures that give us a true opportunity to make an economic pivot to the future, which we're preparing just to do.
The legislature's been struggling with this a bit over the last couple of days. Does your office, trying to figure out what the requirements are, what can this money
be? Getting 1,000 pages into 7 minutes there now.
Do you at this point, does your budget office have enough understanding of this to have a specific spending plan?
We're continuing to develop. I mean, we're continuing to develop those numbers, and I think it's important to note the third category I talked about, which is a significant category, and that's the competitive part of this, where literally the states will be competing for dollars. A good example of that is, I mean, federally there's going to be $2.5 billion available in the energy sector for research, development, deployment for alternative energies. $800 million nationally for biomass. These are areas where we're positioned extremely well to compete, but we've got to bring all the resources together to compete for those jobs. So the biggest piece of this pie, which is out there for us to go get, is competitive, and we need to compete to get it.
What changes have taken place in your budget now that you have a final look at the bill?
We haven't made any specific changes yet. We still have the budget presented with the amendments that we presented to them. We'll look at this and continue to study this and continue to talk to legislative leaders about it. This week already I've met with the Speaker and the Pro Tem and the leaders of the Democratic side. We'll continue to talk to them about areas where we can work together to maximize this. But no, Terry, I have not yet moved any amendments down to the legislature.
Brother, you've got some people running around in this building saying if the hoops to jump through to get the money are too tough, or if we have to obligate it for a long time when it's going to disappear in 2 years, don't take it. Give it back. Say no. Do you take that talk seriously?
Well, I'm not serious about that, and I think I've laid down a clear vision for where we need to go, which is whether you like the federal bill or not, whether you would have voted for it in Congress, all that's rearview mirror stuff, and that's long since passed. We passed that mile marker yesterday at 1:30. We are now in the future, and in the future, just like yesterday we were the first to compete, I'm committed to competing for all these competitive dollars to maximize them and move the economy forward. I do not think that we should walk away from this once-in-a-generation opportunity.
Do you have the
priorities you outlined are essentially the priorities that are in the federal economic stimulus bill. Are you able to give us any estimated dollar amounts for any of these categories that you want to try to see? For example, what would you hope the state could draw down for expanding high-speed internet?
I mean, the entire broadband piece, I don't have the number in front of me. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to, the best thing to do, my budget folks will provide the exact number. Here's the broadband. The national broadband number is $2 billion for broadband expansion in underserved rural areas through the USDA. We would expect to be competitive for our portion of that. We have significant sections in the state of Missouri that are underserved, and this would be once again another area. You also have $7 billion available for expansion through the FCC. So you have two separate pools of resources that you have to go get. These are competitive grants. We'll need to work with folks from across the state and work with partners in not only in the legislature but also in various reaches around the state to be able to be competitive for that. That's $9 billion right there. That doesn't even count the $4.5 billion for smart grid development and other things that are out there. All of these are going to take time, going to take energy, going to take effort, but I'm committed to leading the way to make sure that Missouri is on the cutting edge to receive these dollars.
But you don't have a figure today already that says Missouri wants to get X hundred billion out of that.
No, I mean, we'll want to define what our needs are. We'll work with the local authorities to come up with legitimate grants. We'll see as the relative federal agencies develop their rulemaking in these areas as to what the standards are in the grants. But I think as we sit here today, trying to be the first to be competitive to get these dollars. I mean, when the president signed this bill, his intent was to get this economy going. And so that's what we're trying to do. Like yesterday when we started first, I'm not saying we'll get it all done, in just a few weeks here, but when you've got that kind of dollars out there and these kinds of opportunities, as well as these kind of needs in Missouri, that presents us a unique opportunity that working together, I think we can make progress on.
Do you in any way share, I'm going to kind of probably mistranslate an analogy that Gary Noddler made on the Senate floor this morning of getting addicted to these one-time federal dollars. Do you have any concern that this state finds itself